quick recap, first of all, about the ACE Learn module, which is now available for you to take advantage for Viva Connection and Viva Home. Viva Home is the one which is rolling out in a second. I'm going to talk about that one with the one slide recap. And then we actually go for the creating of Viva Connection SPFx ACEs with geolocation capabilities. And Andrew Connell is going to show that one in practice. I'm no longer allowed to write code, apparently. Now, which is a good thing. So first of all, we do have the new Microsoft Viva Learning module available, which is focusing on development of ACEs. So these are the ACEs which are available in the Microsoft Viva for Viva Home and Viva Connection for now, and maybe potentially in the future in other areas as well. We can't promise anything in there, but we're seeing a huge usage on these sections already. The learning module is available in Microsoft Learn at aka.ms /Viva/ACE/Learn. We'll put that link in the chat in a second as well, and so you can easily access that. That is 1 hour and 52 minutes of content on getting started on creating these ACEs for Viva, Microsoft Viva, using SharePoint framework or using SPFx. Sounds better because it's not really about SharePoint, it's about Viva this time. Now, as kind of noted on Luca's intros as well, SharePoint framework is a bit confusing from a naming perspective because it is actually an extensibility framework for creating stuff, not only for SharePoint, for Microsoft Teams, for Microsoft Viva, and nowadays also for Outlook and Microsoft 365 app. It has the content, it has this automatic single sign-on, automatic code hosting directly in the Microsoft 365 tenant, and it uses industry standard tooling. And you can use it in Teams toolkit, you can use it in Viva toolkit. You choose whatever JavaScript framework you use it with SPFx, and that gives the flexibility. The ACE module really focuses on the Microsoft Viva extensibility. So how can you extend and modify the frontline workers' experiences in mobile, or the information worker experiences in mobile, and then also the desktop experiences. So those small cards which we can see in the desktop or in the mobile experiences. And in this time, this is the module 3 in that Learn module, which is available for you. Again, I will put the link in the chat in a second. But the exercise 3 is really on creating a geolocation capabilities with SPFx for Microsoft Viva Connection and Viva Home. And I will let AC Andrew Connell from Voitanos take it over from here.
Cool. Thanks, Vesa. This is a continuation of the demos I've done in the last 2 of these calls over the last 2 weeks. This is the 3rd demo from that Microsoft Learning module that Vesa mentioned a few minutes ago. Really quick, let me just do a quick introduction. My name is Andrew Connell. I've been in Microsoft MVP for a very long time, and I focus mostly on Microsoft 365 development and Azure development, but I guess my background is primarily like in the SharePoint space, and these days that means SharePoint framework. You can see some information about how to contact me at the bottom, but that's not why you're here. Let's talk a little bit about this module. The module is broken up into, like Vesa said, it's almost 2 hours long, and it's broken up into 3 main sections. Each section is a little bit of a lecture followed by a demo that reinforces what you just learned. So the last 2 meetings that we've had that you can grab the recordings for, what you're watching right now, were from the first 2 sections, and the last one here is the one I'm going to do today in just a minute, is a demo of the last hands-on lab exercise from that 3rd section, or from the module, which is the 3rd section. And it's specifically around building an adaptive card extension that leverages 2 of the 3 unique aspects that we have with ACEs, and specifically adaptive cards that's supported by Viva Connections. And that is, those 3 areas are working with geolocation. So one of them is showing a geolocation, one of them is selecting a geolocation, and then the 3rd one that is not shown here for the interest of time really is being able to select a media object, so specifically an image, if you want to upload an image. So you take a picture of something from your phone and you want to upload it, that's what that's designed for. So let's forget about like the slides because we're developers, and let's look at actually a demo of actually something happening. So what I'm going to do first, I want to come over here and actually get this guy up and running, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do first, and then we'll go back and we'll look at the code. I'm not going to walk you through everything about building an ACE because, quite frankly, I don't have enough time to do that in the demo. Instead, I'm going to show you the specific pieces that are applicable just to Viva Connections. So let me go ahead and add this back. Let me go add this to our the adaptive card, my ACE, to the page. Now, what this is going to do, the scenario for this is like, think about something like a campus shuttle. So, or like and when I say campus, I mean like a large corporation that has multiple buildings around a large campus. So the Microsoft guys are definitely familiar with this. Or you can think about it as like a shuttle for like a large university that has a lot of buildings and stuff. So think about it kind of like an Uber or a Lyft, but a very simplified version of it for a demo. So what I do here is I actually have everything is going to be stored in a SharePoint list. So what I need to do is first configure this and go grab the list ID. So let's come over here and let me just go to my list called Campus Shuttle, and I need to get the list ID for this. And I'll do that by just jumping over to the list settings. I'll then grab the ID for my list, which is here in the URL. Copy that out, come back over here, select them, edit, paste it in, close it, save, we're in good shape. Now let's switch over to preview mode. Now, how does this work? So what I can do here is you can see that as a driver, the idea here is that I'm the driver. So I'm looking at this on my phone and the Viva Connections or Viva Home app. And I can either specify that I'm either, if I click book a trip, I can choose that I'm either en route to a pickup to go pick up a passenger and take them somewhere, or I'm actually starting my trip. I've got my passenger. Now, before I do this, I'm gonna use the geolocation stuff for this, but I don't want you to see where I live. So let me switch over and use the dev tools to actually specify a to give me a fake location. So I'm going to go to my sensors in the browser tool, and I'm going to choose my default location to Gainesville, Florida. And so now let's take a look at this. So I'll go book a trip. And here I'm going to say select the origin from the map. Now, when I first click this, that's going to go ahead and open up. You see, I've got a second quick view that's going to launch. So when I say select a location, this is what I get. And so this is a location here near the University of Florida in Gainesville, Florida, in the United States. And this is where I've told it, where I told the browser, like I said, this is with geolocation for my browser. So don't actually go get a real location. That what I just showed you there really quick in the Chrome Dev Tools. It's a nice little trick when you're doing demos to make sure you don't share people where you live, especially if you are doing a work from home like I do. So let's say, I want to say, what are we doing? Select a location on the map where we're going to start the location. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this little push pin, and I'm going to say I'm going to start right here on the corner of Stadium Road between the basketball arena and the football stadium. So I'll say I'll share my location. That's the origin, and where am I going to go? So I can then choose the origin, and the way this is set up is I can either choose a destination on a map, which you just kind of saw that, so we don't want to see that again, or I can choose a known location. So in this case here, we're just going to go up the road to the hub. Really, the person should be walking because it's like a 5-minute walk, but regardless, people are lazy. They want to use their cars. I'll choose set a destination, and then I'll say that where we're going is I'm going to be en route to the pickup for this person because I'm not currently where the passenger I'm picking up. I'm not currently at that location between the basketball and the football stadium. And I said football, and I mean football. I don't mean soccer. So I'll say save trip, close successfully, and you can now see that this is now listed as this person is now currently booked and they're en route to a pickup. So let's go through and let's just change this really quick here and make sure that we're in large mode so we can just see it a little bit better. And go back to preview mode. A couple things you'll notice. I can either view the pickup location or I can update the trip. And if I go over to my list, it's where my data is being stored. I can see that I have Megan. So my name is Megan. And I've got Megan. This is the geolocation of where the pickup is. Where they're going. So this is the hub, and I have preset destinations. So I've got a location name, and then I've got the geolocation as well as the status of where they're going. Come back over here. Let's say, let's update the trip, or I can view the location. This is going to use the show geolocation option. Waiting, we're waiting, we're waiting, we're still waiting, we're still waiting. Come on, you're supposed to work now. Preview mode. View the pickup location. There we go. So we can see the pickup location here I can't select anything. This is the second of the 2 geolocation options we have with Viva Connections, where it's showing me where I'm supposed to be going. And then I can also update the trip. So I can either cancel the trip or I can pick up the passenger. Let's just go ahead and pick up the person. We've now gotten to that location. We've picked up John Doe, throw him in the back of the car, or we put him in the trunk if they were obnoxious. I'll click pick up the passenger. And now you can see I'm listed as I'm hired and I'm driving a passenger to the hub. I can see where am I actually dropping them off, or I can just say I've completed the trip. Are you sure you want to complete the trip? I'll say complete trip. Now keep that in mind, that little quick view you see popping up there, because if I click complete the trip and then I come back over here, and let's say if I do another one of these trips, so let's just choose a location. We'll start right where we are right now, the destination. We'll again just choose another location, set the destination, and we'll start the trip right now. All right, no, let's not do that. Let's go en route to pickup again, and I hit save the trip. If I come over here and say update the trip and I say cancel, notice I'm going to get, it's not working. Browser screwing up here because this thing was working right before the demo, of course, right? I would get a different confirmation. It's going to ask me, are you sure you want to cancel the trip? That cancel and that confirmation of like that I've completed the trip or I'm canceling it, that's kind of important because I'm going to show you how we're using the same quick view to do two different things. So let's get out of this. Let's go back to the code and let's actually see what's going on. I'm going to go ahead and stop this. So what do we have here that's interesting? So I'm going to open up the main class, the main file that we have here for my quick view or for my my ACE. And in this case here, this guy's got not a whole lot of stuff associated with him. I've got on the properties, I really only care about the list ID in my SharePoint list where I'm storing all of those trips. And then the other thing I'm also going to have is an object for the actual list item. And in my case, that's where I'm storing that in the state. And what that's going to do is that now whenever I make a change to the current trip that we're on, so I've either changed the location in either one of the two locations, or I've changed the status from it being I'm en route to I've actually got a passenger, or I've completed it, or I've canceled the trip. I'm going to update this current trip property here on line 26, and that's what's going to trigger the entire ACE to re-render. And I can do that from anywhere in the adaptive card. I can do that from the card view, which is that thing that you see, which is this guy right here, or I can do that from any one of these quick views as well. Oh, jump too quick. I've got a whole lot of quick views that are created with this, and I'm using the stack idea of the quick view navigator, of the navigators, but of specifically the quick view navigator, to push things onto the stack and kind of pop them off. And so you can kind of see where right now I've got the card view. If I click update a trip, that's going to put one thing on the that's going to launch the quick view with this campus shuttle. But if I click on pick up passenger, or I go to complete a trip and I mark complete a trip, where's my cancel one? Oh, I did it too fast. I want to be able to put other things up on the stack. And if I put a new quick view on the stack, if I push it onto the stack, so the main one is at the bottom and the next one is like the next level up, it's going to always it's always going to render, the ACE rendering engine is always going to render the top one on the stack. So if I put another one on the stack, it's going to render that one. Another one on the stack, it's going to render that one. Hopefully you can see my camera. If not, then I'm doing hand motions for just myself here in my room, in my office. Nobody else has seen it. But if I pop something off the stack, so pop that top guy off the stack, like the confirmation one, then it'll drop back to the next quick view that is on the stack and render that one. Or I can just close the entire quick view stack. So let's see how some of this stuff is working. Specifically, let's see, I want to show you how the stuff works for the show location, the geolocation stuff, because that's what's kind of unique about this sample. So let's choose the setting of the origin. So the set origin quick view, what I'm doing with this is if I scroll down a little bit there's my quick view right there. It's called the set origin. And here I have a method here where I'm returning the data that's out of the box method that if you override that accessor method, it'll return back the data that I want to send to the adaptive card engine that's going to get bound using the adaptive templating engine with the actual JSON for the card to like mesh the data together. And in my case, I've just got 3 properties here. I've got the trip, the title, and the description. Now, the on action piece here is that what happens when someone, clicks it? Well, before we do that, let's go back to the actual JSON. Let's take a look at the JSON for this and see how this looks. So what I've done here is here's my location. And where I want to set the location here, I'm using an action. And my action is called the Viva action get location. You see the squiggly line here that's popping up that it doesn't like it because it's not part of the adaptive card schema. And neither is this parameters piece right here. These are unique to Viva Connections. So don't flip out when you see these squiggly lines like, oh, something's not working. It's like, well, first of all, they're yellow and they're warnings and we're developers and we don't care about those. We only care about red stuff. But even if it was red, we still wouldn't care about it. So in this case here, when someone clicks my button called set location or select a location on the map, I'm setting the parameter on this specific action to choosing the location on the map to true, and I'm saying the type equal to Viva action.getLocation. Well, if I go back to the set origin, you can see here I'm checking to see, is the action type equal to Viva action.getLocation? And if it is, I'm going to go get a reference to the current trip in the state of my entire ACE, and I'm going to go set the origin location to it equal to the latitude and the longitude of the location property on that specific action that was passed in as a parameter to this. I'm going to take that and I'm going to push it. I'm going to set the state of that value. So I've now updated the location, and then I'm going to pop the current card that I have, QuickView card. I'm going to pop that off the stack. So I no longer am, if I had multiple cards on the stack, it would go back to the next one down in the stack. In my case, I know there's nothing else there, but by just popping it off is a better way of doing it, I think, in this case. The other one that I want to do is I want to be able to maybe set a destination, or actually let's do setting the origin. Let's do, what was it, the view location? Where's my view location? There's one, where was I doing that? Hold on, let me see, where was I doing that? So I had book a trip, I could be en route, start the trip, set location on the map, that looks good, set destination on the map. We are now going to the Rights Union. I'll set that one. We're going to be en route to the pickup, save trip. Where was that in UI? View pickup, oh, that's on my card view. So let's go back over to the card view and let's see how I'm actually triggering this, because this is not really a quick view. So I have that view pickup location. If I come back over to my card view, what you'll see here in the list of buttons that are returned in my card view, I have one called, not book, here we go, view pickup location. And one of those cards, because I'm currently en route, I'm returning back 2 cards. You saw I had update trip and I also had view pickup location, right? Remember that right there? And here, what I'm doing when I click view pickup location, what's happening here is that's going to launch the action called Viva action.showLocation, which is what's going to trigger that quick view to pop up, which it doesn't like to do sometimes for some reason. And I'm going to set the location. I'm going to set the location coordinates that I want it to display equal to the current trip's destination location, and I'm grabbing it out as a latitude or a longitude. And the reason why I'm having to cast it here to this interface is because this is actually a string. This is not an object. So as you saw in the list item, I'm just storing them as a CSV for the latitude, longitude coordinates. So that's that. That's basically how to use those 2 things. The other thing I did want to show you too, because I've got about 90 seconds left. Let me show you this last one that I did, is that I have this confirmation card, and this is like a dual purpose. Remember, I had the cancel or confirm what I wanted to do. In this case here, this is my generic card. It's just a text, a title block, a description, and then a submit. Well, if I come over here to the confirmation quick view, what's unique about this is that I've set up a constructor for my confirmation quick view that's going to take in a string, either a cancel string or a complete string. And I'm setting that as a private member on my class of confirmation quick view. I'm then, when I return back the object that's going to go back to the templating engine, I'm going to set the title to the uppercase value of the first character in the string. So cancel or complete. Of course, in this case, they're both C, so I could have hard coded that, but it's a demo. We want to do things kind of right? And then I'm going to put in the rest of the word here, all in lowercase, and say trip. Now, what that's done then is I've now used just one quick view and one JSON adaptive card, one adaptive card defined in JSON, to implement essentially 2 quick views. And I know that there's a confirmation card, but I'm trying to prove a point here. When I go back to my actual adaptive card extension, when I registered these 2 guys, so here's my cancel and here's my complete. Notice here on these 2, they have different IDs, but when I go to register them on the quick view between cancel and complete, notice here that when I create the class, I'm passing in different strings. So now, according to the rest of my adaptive card, my ACE, I can use these 2 different IDs, but under the covers, I'm using really the same quick view. I'm just kind of toggling between 2 different modes of that quick view. So that's basically it. That's everything that I wanted to show for this. I hope this was at least moderately useful. But I'll take a look at the chat while Vesa's doing wrap up, and I'll try and answer any questions that popped up.
Sounds good. Thank you, AC, on that one. Really cool. And it's a great scenario. And just to call out something what I added in the chat as well, that of course that geolocation-based experiences makes more sense as they are targeted for mobile devices. So as people are driving their cars, they have a mobile device with them, not using the desktop experience. But AC was demonstrating this using the desktop experience because it's easier to do that in the development time.